Hello, hi, very happy good evening. So this is Krishna and we've been talking about the story of life on earth, and that's biology. So today here I am with a new set of disorders or a new set of series. So here we titled it as Disorder Series. So welcome to Disorder Series 1. So what is so intriguing about this disorder series? So why are you guys here? So I am very sure 1 in 10 people would definitely know what is progeria, but the others would not know what progeria is. Hi Natasha, hello, I hope you're doing well. So thank you so much for joining my session. So please do like, share and subscribe. Hi Antonia B, I saw your message well before the class. So thank you for joining my lecture, guys. Thank you so much. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, so what is this disorder series? So people were asking me, what disorder are you suffering from? So why did you go back to the disorder series? Well, I have an explanation to all those who ask me this question. Well, all of us are at one point suffering from one disorder or the other, right? So we are not always perfect. So yeah, so I am glad to accept that, yeah, all of us are having some disorder. But what is the agenda or what is the aim between bringing this disorder series? So what is new? So what are we going to learn from this disorder series? So let me address you. So I don't know if you know, so there are almost 6,000 rare genetic diseases across the globe. Yeah, the number is right. So it is 6,000 rare genetic disease across the globe. So many disorders are there for which hardly we have any cure, right? So when I say 6,000 rare genetic disorder, among 95% of the genetic disorder affects the child. Right, it affects the infant, so that is they are not adults, so it affects the child population. So that is a shocking data that we have. So 6,000 genetic disorders for which we have no cure. So how can we boost ourselves saying we are in the era of genetic engineering, provided we don't know anything about these diseases, we don't know the name of these diseases, we don't know how to treat these diseases. So it is surprising, right? Yes, Dharni, a very happy good evening. Yes, I'm doing fine. How are you? How was your weekend? Good? Yes, thank you so much for joining my session of disorder series today. So thank you once again. Hi Antonia B, yes, I saw your message well before class. So thank you so much for showing great interest in this disorder series. So welcome once again and thank you so much for joining. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Yes, I'm doing really great. I hope you guys are also doing really great after 1 week of your NEET exam. Yes, did you all celebrate 1 week anniversary of your NEET exam? No? Okay, fine. So welcome. So let's talk about certain genetic disorders. So it is a 1 week series because we won't have the time and the energy and the interest to talk about all the 6,000 disorders, right? So it is really too high a number. So we'll just talk about the most common of the rare genetic disorders. So somewhere we have heard, somewhere we have come across these diseases, these people affected with these diseases. So we'll talk about only those diseases, okay? Right? So here we start off with progeria. So what is progeria? What is happening? So do we know any prominent person from progeria? So we are going to talk, okay? Yeah, hi sweetie, yes, very happy good evening. So it's raining in your place. All right, fine, that's really nice. So in Kota it's a bit cloudy, but it's actually not raining. Okay, so here we move forward. Welcome to the disorder series. So how do you define a disorder? So all of us are blessed because we are not having any disorder, right? Hi ma'am, how are you? Yes, I'm really good, thank you. I'm not good again. There's ear pain, not feeling well. I will rewatch this one day. Okay, fine. So please take care, get well soon, don't fall sick. Okay, Keshav? Yes. But anyways, thank you so much. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe when you rewatch. Okay, right. So all of us are blessed because we do not have any disorder right now. At least we are not diagnosed with any, right? Yeah, you have memory problem, you are not eating well, that is all different. So as long as you can walk and eat your own food, then you're completely fine, right? So as long as you are independent as a complete entity, you are completely fine. So we should be grateful because we are not suffering from any disorder, right? So official information from NTA ma'am, the result is on October 16. Okay, so still we have a lot of time, so don't worry about it. Anyways, we are done discussing the papers, so I guess you guys would have calculated the marks, so why worry about it? So let the day come, then we'll start worrying about it, okay? Yeah, so here we talk about disorder. So disorder is the one that is not functioning properly. So only then you bring the word disorder, right? So in another term, you can say it is malfunctioning of something. So what is malfunctioning? It depends on the type of disorder that you are having. So how many disorders are there? So you have n number of disorders. So once what happens, so 10 years before, so in the National Institute of Health, so that's present in the US, so that is one of the largest clinics that is present for research. So this NIH actually opened a program known as non-diagnosed diseases, the diseases which have not been diagnosed yet at all. So trust me, you had 6,000 candidates who went for that non-diagnosed disease program, right? So that is a huge number. So 6,000 people felt that their disease had no cure, and yes, surprisingly, all of the disease were new to the clinicians who were there. So that is how we come across this undiagnosed or unnamed diseases, because it's the first time you're diagnosing something like that. So then you have to give a name, you have to find the cause, you have to find the treatment, and it's really a tedious task, right? So we exactly do not know how many disorders are there. So how many of them are genetic disorders? Yes, I have an answer. So you have 6,000 rare genetic disorders across the globe, and it affects a wide variety of population. So when I say genetic disorders, it can be of two types. One, it can be inherited. One, it can be chromosomal, right? So you cannot say anything. So it has happened, and one major cause of your genetic disorder is your mutation. So mutations are random, right? So this is the mutation that leads to a lot of problem. So there are 6,000 rare genetic disorders. So today we start with progeria. Ma'am, why are we starting with progeria? There are so many diseases, so why did you start with progeria? Okay, so for a long time I know progeria is a genetic disorder and it affects children, right? But I know one person who's suffering with progeria, and he's very successful, right? And his talk actually inspired me a lot, and that is the reason we are starting with progeria. So it's nothing that it starts with progeria, nothing. Yeah, we have 6,000 rare genetic disorders, right? The number is too high, but that is the number of genetic disorders that we have across the globe, for which we have no treatment, for which we have only diagnosed the condition right now. So may not be all the 6,000 we are not yet diagnosed, maybe we are nearing the deadline, right? Yeah. So I will show you who that person is, what it is. So progeria is also known as Hutchinson-Gilford syndrome. Okay, so Hutchinson-Gilford syndrome is also known as progeria. So what happens in progeria? It is a progressive genetic disorder that causes the children to age rapidly. So this is not inherited. A child who is 4 years old looks like he is 40 years old. So his aging is very quick. So why does it happen and how does it happen? The genetic mutation occurs randomly and it isn't inherited, right? So it is a type of genetic disorder, but it is not inherited, right? Yeah, so this is how the person looks. So look at this child. So he is hardly 10-12 years old, but how does his face look? As though he is older than both his parents, right? Yeah, so this is the case study that I want to talk about. So he is Sam Burns. So he lives in the North US. So he is suffering from progeria. So he has given a very wonderful talk on his disorder and his obstacles in life. Yeah, so that is what inspired me to start the genetic disorder series with progeria. So the children look like this, okay? So here we move forward. What exactly happens, we'll talk about. So Raj, hello, yes, a very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Yeah, so what does this random mutation lead to? Okay, fine, there is a mutation. So what happens in this mutation that leads to the premature aging of a child? So here we see there is a mutation in the LMNA gene. So I guess by now we all know what is mutation, right? So you know how many types of mutations are there, because we are done with your molecular basis of inheritance. So we have your frame shift mutation, inversion, deletion, duplication, etc. So we have terminal deletion, intercalary deletion, so many types of mutation. And mutation is actually important to drive the process of evolution, and thus it leads to a lot of variation, right? Yes, but what exactly this mutation does and what is it that is causing the progeria, right? Yeah, this is God's creation. Yes, just like God created a lot of good things, God also created people with a lot of disabilities. But we should admire the courage that these people have. They are never burdened by the disability that I have. So I have shared the TED Talk link of the Sam Burke. So he has given a TED Talk on Progeria. So that's a very beautiful talk, right? So though we are fine, comfortable, so though we can eat 4 times a day, we have proper hands and legs, proper mental ability to think at least some basic things, we still proved about what is not there, what is happening, what will happen in future. Well, live in the present, so then talk about the future. So this fellow, he is amazing. So the way he spoke, the way he said that he's content with this life, so that inspired me really a lot. Yeah, let's talk about it. So you have a mutation in the LMNA gene that causes your Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome. So what happens when you have a mutation in this? So LMNA gene provides instructions for making a protein known as laminin A. So laminin is your cytoskeletal protein. So I guess in Cell, the Unit of Life, we have read about laminin. Yes? Right. So this protein plays an important role in determining the shape of the nucleus within the cell. Right. What gives you the structural framework? That is your laminin protein. Right. So this laminin protein is coded by a gene that is LMNA, and this decides the shape of the nucleus within the cell. So it is an essential scaffolding component of the nuclear envelope, which is a membrane that surrounds the nucleus, right? So this laminin, which makes up the proper shape of the nucleus, it is an essential scaffolding, meaning it is a support component of the nuclear envelope. So what defines us from prokaryotes is the nuclear envelope. So it is this laminin protein that is very important, right? Yes, ma'am, a very happy good evening. Hi, Advait, hello. So thank you so much both of you for joining my session today. So please do like, share and subscribe, right? So in your Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome, the result is the production of the abnormal version of the laminin A protein. So normally all of us have the proper production of the laminin A, and thus a nucleus is properly shaped and our cytoskeletal is properly done. Right? Yes, so the nuclear envelope is properly defined. But in a person who is suffering from progeria, so this protein has an abnormal version to it. The altered protein makes the nuclear envelope unstable and progressively damages the nucleus. So if the nucleus of the cell is damaged, so nucleus is the control house of the cell. If that is damaged, then it leads to a lot of consequence, right? Making the cells more likely to die prematurely. So that is the reason they have the outlook of an adult though they are a child. Right? So this is what happens. So progeria affects almost only 350 kids across the world. Right? So we in a world or in a planet where we have millions and millions of population, only 350 of the population are affected by progeria. Yeah, it is a very rare disorder, right? So what happens in progeria? You're no longer new to this term, right? So you have a mutation in the LMNA and that produces your laminin. So see how genetics play a very significant role. So you cannot neglect or omit genetics and come and talk about medicine or biology. That is not possible, right? So it is an interrelation or correlation of a lot of things put together. So this is one of them. So this is the mutation that causes your progeria. So I want to discuss one case study. So we are not going to talk long because we are neither doctors, we are neither clinical genetists. So the more complicated I talk about the disease or the disorder, yes, you guys will get bored. So let's keep the session pretty short and crisp so that you understand what are genetic disorders, how many of them are there. So what happens in progeria? So in each disorders, we'll talk about a case study, a role model which we can take a message home back, right? So here we go. So I have someone known as Sam Burns, okay? So taking notes, so helpful. Okay, you're taking notes. Wow, that's really great. So that shows your interest. Yeah, the more you learn, the more knowledge you grasp, the more powerful you become. So only knowledge is power, money isn't power, right? So money gives you a lot of problems. So sometimes knowledge also gives you, but too much of knowledge is your power, right? Okay, so he's Mr. Sam Burns. So he's actually 17 years old, right? So he has given a beautiful talk. So I guess you know a platform known as TED. So TED is Technology, Entertainment and Design. So it is a platform where people give inspiring messages, thought-provoking speeches, etc. So he has been interviewed by TED and he has given a wonderful speech. So I have attached the link. So for those of you who are very doomed in life, who say my life is such a mess and I am not blessed enough to get this life, so I would highly recommend you to watch this video, and hats off to this person. So yeah, his way and his approach, his perspective towards life is amazing, which even I cannot get. Right? So let me tell you the story. So he is Sam Burns. So he was towards the North Atlantic, so that's where he was born. So he was born, after he was born, he was diagnosed with progeria. So yeah, so he's like this right now, okay. Okay, so with progeria, you know, so he ages, so yeah, you have weight gain, so you do not gain weight, right? So you have weak muscles, you have fatigue, etc. So these are normal symptoms with progeria, and you also have heart disease, right? So these are the problems or the symptoms of progeria that he's acclimed to. But he's been to schooling, he has done his college, junior college, etc. So when he went to school, he wanted to be a part of the snare drum troupe. Yeah, so in college, so in your sports day, you have the drum beat, right? So like that, they have the bass drum or the snare drum. So he wanted to be a part of it. But because of his progeria, he couldn't, because the master said the snare drum is pretty heavy. These people cannot carry heavy objects, right? So they are very light on their own, so they cannot carry heavy objects. But he definitely wanted to play the snare drum in the troupe. So he was very fond of music, so he wanted to live through his dream. So he and his family, the first picture that I showed with his parents, they called a carpenter. They built a snare drum for 6 months, which is of lightweight. Okay, so when you watch this video on TED Talk, so you will know how he has played the snare drum. So he proved nothing is an obstacle. He did play the snare drum in his troupe, right? So that's very beautiful. So his mom was a scientist. So his mom and her group of colleagues, they released the first treatment study for progeria. So because some treatment was given to him to alter the disease, but though it is not completely cured, he is still suffering from progeria. So he was interviewed worldwide as to okay, what kind of treatment is it, what are the problems he is facing. So once someone asked him, so what is the message you would like the world to know from a person who is suffering from progeria? So what is the message the world would like to know from a person who is suffering from progeria? For example, we do not know what is their problem, right? So we just talk to them, oh, we feel so empathetic for them, so we feel so low for them, right? So that was the question that was asked in the interview, and his answer was very simple, and his answer was mind-blowing as well. He said, I want the world to know that people with progeria also have a happy life. So that is the simplest answer which he gave, and which actually shook me to the core, right? So I literally got goosebumps on my body. So if you ask me if I am suffering from a headache, so if you ask me, I have 6 classes in a day, I would give you endless worries, I will give you endless complaints, right? But look at this little fellow. So he said, people with progeria also have a happy life. So I turned my obstacles into my strength. So that is what he said. And he's like, yeah, there are n number of times which n number of nights I have cried because of progeria. There are also equally good days that I've spent with my family, with my music band and with my friends. So I will go for all the parties, I will dance with people, and I will continue to play my snare drum. So that is the message that he came forward to share with all of us. He said, please don't give me your sympathies and empathies, I don't want. So progeria is not an obstacle, I can live with that. So that was a message that took over the globe, and that was a very sweet message. So he is still alive. So yeah, he is suffering from progeria, but yeah, this is the story. So this is a very beautiful story. So the take home message is, if you want something to be accomplished, yes, it will happen, right? So though God planned his life this way, God also has given him a lot of strength, which we normal people lack, right? So every obstacle is a stepping stone into your success. So don't be scared about your obstacles. So go forward, step over your obstacle. So that is the take home message that we have, and please be grateful for whatever you have and don't brood over what you do not have. So what you do not have will find your way. What you have, please be grateful for, and please show gratitude for what you have. That is very, very important. So every day in this 5-day session of disorder series, I would like to talk about a rare genetic disease and a take home message from such a disease, right? Yes? I am also a person like complaining from here. I want to stop that. Okay, yeah, the more we stop complaining, the lot of negative energy that we transfer stops. So as a result, we can conserve a lot of energy. So that's really good. Yes. So thank you so much for joining my session. So I would highly recommend you to watch this YouTube link that I have given. So please cut, copy, paste and watch it. So it's a beautiful video. So it is a 17-minute video, and this fellow has really spoken great. Okay. So that kind of thinking, that kind of mindset should come from within. So it should not be like, oh, how will the world see me? So I'm not capable of doing anything. No. So what you think defines you, right? So how you think about yourself, so that builds you. So that is all life is all about, right? Yeah. So this is my short session on disorder series. So this is disorder 1. So tomorrow we're talking about another disorder. So I don't know if you have heard. So it is known as the Angelman syndrome. So what is Angelman syndrome? So join me tomorrow at 5 p.m. to talk more about your Angelman syndrome. So until then, if you like such videos, such new series coming into picture, so please do like, share and subscribe. So thank you so much for joining with me for this 20-minute session on disorder series. So continue to stay tuned and I will never disappoint you. So thank you so much. So this is me wishing you more and most. So stay tuned and take care. Bye.